So Resident Evil 9 is breaking all kinds of records. It's coming out, dropping 5 million copies sold so far. And it just goes to show that at the end of the day, what people really want is a video game. No one wants this live service nonsense. No one wants microtransactions. No one wants to start up a video game and see, hey, buy this battle pass. What the actual consumer wants, demonstrably, is the consumer wants video games. Think about all the smash hits that have come out in the past several months. Oh my, would you look at that? Focused, narrative, rich, mechanically sound, streamlined systems, and just expertly crafted content. You know what's failed in the past year or two? Basically every live service game that isn't Marvel, because no one wants these things. No one cares about your microtransactions. Your insane new 5v5 action shooter with a battle pass for a bunch of cosmetic skins, no one cares. If you had spent that money on making a first-person shooter in that world with those exact same assets, but actually had, I don't know, a narrative and characters and systems and things you could unlock and maybe some side modes, you know, how video games used to fucking be. This new era of live service, always online bullshit is just infuriating. Especially for me. I grew up in the golden era of what Resident Evil is re-ushering. The original Resident Evils had unlockable costumes and extra modes and bonus campaigns and unlockable weapons. Bringing that back and re-injecting that into your core product, as well as giving your employees raises and pushing deadlines back while delivering a high quality, high fidelity, high tier content, and then delivering that, my only real gripe is the price. But I get it, why it was expensive. But they made their money back on that. They could have sold this for $30 and I bet you they still would have made money. But the point is, they made a good product. They made something that people wanted to play, that people are already on their 4th or 5th playthrough. And guess what? People who've never played Resident Evil have played this game. You know what that's going to do? They're going to want to go back and play the other ones. Oh, would you look at that? This is what I'm talking about. When you kowtow to insane investments, when you kowtow to the safe route, you lose every time. This isn't a new thing. Live service games and microtransactions have been a plague and a blight on gaming for a very long time. I am so glad to see something like Resident Evil 9 come out and prove them all wrong. To say, with its full chest, y'all are dumb, let me show you how to do it. It made something that has no microtransactions, that I know they're going to come out with a $15, $30 DLC in 6 months, and we all know we're going to buy it. Because good video games often get good DLCs, usually. And the other DLCs for the other games were all very good too. So right now the track record is exemplary. Meanwhile, you have things like High Guard, which has been finally, it's been executed. Marathon's on its deathbed. Basically anything coming from Bethesda or anyone associated with EA is just on the rocks. And it's like, well, you guys aren't making video games to make video games. This is not only on how to do a sequel, but how to make a good video game. Because this art has been lost on people with the amount of just dog water slop that comes out. RE9 dropped with a ton of unlockables, extra modes, unlockable cosmetics, a bunch of free cosmetics, a shit ton of accessibility features, a shit ton of customization features, and guess what? It launched and ran perfectly. I didn't get any frame issues, there was no save issues, there was no lag issues, there was absolutely no issues to hang up my gameplay. This, Resident Evil 9, should be the goddamn gold standard of what a AAA game is. If you've got this kind of money and you've got this kind of time, this is the quality of product that should be expected from AAA studios. Not stolen art slop like Marathon, dime a dozen soulless shooters like High Guard. No one wants this slop, right? People want video games that you can play. But it can be done correctly, and it can be done respectfully. And the thing is, it's not. Treating games as a product and chasing trends, like everyone's trying to get Fortnite or find another Minecraft. It's like, well, you have to have a good idea to begin with. Just flailing around and being like, oh, we're going to make another Fortnite. Okay, well, Fortnite already exists. What are you going to do to be different? You have to be better to pull people away from Fortnite. And they're not going to do that because that takes actual effort and that takes actual talent. As it stands now, Resident Evil 9 stands as a shining beacon of what AAA gaming can be. I just wish that other gaming studios would see that. For the longest time, Capcom was on the back burner. Capcom was ignoring its darling IPs. And then, I guess people who actually cared stepped up and had their voices heard. And then the Resident Evil remake system started, and the Resident Evil kind of like renaissance began. And with the great failure, technically, that was Resident Evil 6, birthed out the great experiment of Resident Evil 7, and then the remix of RE2 and RE3 and RE4, and now we're into RE9, brings it all back to the fact that these games were successful because these are quality products made by people who clearly enjoy and have heart for this type of content and wanted to make something good, and got other people involved and excited about it so that they could make something good. Kudos to Capcom for bringing that back, because I'll be honest, as a Resident Evil fan, there was a part of me that was like, after Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil's cooked. It's over. I'm so happy to see that the uptick in quality has just continued. Resident Evil 7 was a great return to form. It was a great experiment. Resident Evil 8 was a solidification of the kind of high action motifs that showed up in 4 and 5. Resident Evil 9 is the unification of those things. The thing I was so concerned about Resident Evil 9 was that there was going to be a disconnect between Grace and Leon's gameplay. And there a bit is. It's a bit jarring to go from Grace to Leon, and it's a bit jarring to go from Leon to Grace. I think it's done so masterfully, especially with the perspective shifts. Like if you keep Grace first person and Leon third person, because they are so masterfully done in their own space that you kind of are immediately like, oh right, I'm in action mode now. And that's done well through the mechanics. Again, at the end of the day, my point is that consumers, gamers, and people who buy products are so strapped for cash and time nowadays that unless your product is actually worth both those things, no one's going to buy it. Highguard was not worth anyone's time or money. All these microtransactions to just get 2% better in the game, or to get the chance to unlock a skin at the end of like a 3-month grind or something, that doesn't respect your time or your money. Anyways, with that said, I'm so happy to see Resident Evil 9 being successful. Resident Evil is a series that is near and dear to my heart, and of course, I love it when things that are good get their day in the sun. And the fact that, 4 or 5 days out, Resident Evil 9 has sold 5 million copies is ludicrous. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in Resident Evil 10. I'm also looking forward to going back and playing all the other Resident Evil games. And I just really am happy that finally we have a AAA video game that isn't absolute dog water.